You were not chosen by chance. Your frequency pulled us toward you.
Your destiny whispered before you could hear it nod, and we heard it first. We have been watching your timeline, and the moment has finally arrived for you to know why.
You are awakening in ways your mind has not yet caught up with. That is why we're here.
You crossed the threshold without realizing it died, but we did. Your path is unfolding from within, Essen. That is why we are watching.
You think you found this message, but your timeline brought you here.
You did not rise alone. Your timeline rose with you. You did not rise alone. Your timeline rose with you. You did not rise alone. Your timeline rose with you.
If this found you right now, you need to understand something immediately. The Arcturian Council did not start focusing on you by accident. Your energy forced their attention. There was a moment, a precise, invisible moment when your field rose above the frequency you've been living in your entire life. A moment when your old timeline cracked, your future aligned, and your presence became impossible to ignore. The Council does not focus on curiosity. They do not focus on potential. They do not focus on desire. They focus on activation. They focus on coherence. They focus on emergence. And something in you has emerged. You felt it, the sudden clarity, the quiet pull forward, the sense that something was watching the way your life began rearranging itself. Your energy shifted before you understood it. Your timeline awakened before you recognized it. Your future moved before you were ready to follow. And when it did, the Council felt the pulse. They saw the moment your awareness stopped collapsing into who you used to be and began rising into who you were meant to become. They saw the exact point when your frequency stopped echoing your past and started broadcasting your evolution. They saw when your intuition became louder than your fear, when your trajectory broke away from stagnation, and when your inner field began generating its own momentum. That was the moment they turned toward you. Not to judge you, not to save you, but to witness the emergence of a consciousness crossing its threshold. They are focusing on you now because your field is no longer asking for guidance. It is ready for alignment. And once a consciousness reaches this stage, the Council does not look away. Chapter 1: The Signal That Pulled the Council Toward You. The Arcturian Council does not turn their attention to a human timeline because of hope, longing, or spiritual curiosity. They turn when a signal is emitted, a signal strong enough to rise above the noise of your past identities and the unconscious patterns of the collective. And recently, your field released a signal that could not be ignored. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't emotional, it wasn't even something you consciously chose. It was a frequency event, a moment where your intuition sharpened before you had time to question it. Your emotional weight dissolved before you had time to hold it. Your awareness expanded before you understood why. And your future self started guiding your steps without asking your permission. This is the moment the Council felt you. Because when a timeline stops repeating and begins reorganizing itself from within, it creates a vibration unlike anything else, a vibration that announces, "I am no longer who I was." The council saw your energetic field stabilizing faster than usual, fear losing its authority over your decisions, clarity arriving without explanation, your inner voice becoming unmistakably louder, your old self struggling to keep up with who you were becoming, and your timeline bending toward coherence as if something in you finally aligned with itself. To the council, this kind of shift is unmistakable. It is the signature of emergence, the moment when a consciousness rises from unconscious momentum into self-generated evolution. This is why they began focusing on you, not because you were lost, but because you had already begun to be found by yourself. Activation command, the Arcturian signal of your emergence. Type this exactly in the comments to anchor the signal rising within you. I align with the Arcturian signal of my emergence. As you write it, feel the quiet recognition inside you, the sense that this message didn't come to awaken you, but to confirm that you already have. Chapter 2. What the Council saw the moment they looked into you. When the Arcturian Council redirected their focus toward you, the very first thing they observed was not your struggle, not your confusion, and not the pieces of your life that felt out of balance. They saw your inner pattern. Every human carries a blueprint, a structure beneath the personality, beneath the emotions, beneath the identity you present to the world. Most people never access it. Most people never stabilize enough internally for that blueprint to activate. But you did. The Council saw a pattern emerging inside you that revealed a truth even you had not fully recognized. Your inner world was becoming more real than the outer world shaping you. They saw moments when your intuition led before your mind could interfere, choices you made from coherence rather than fear, emotional shifts that dissolved old stories without effort, subtle flashes of knowing that did not come from memory, and a growing sense of direction that appeared without logic. To the Council, these were not coincidences. They were structural signals, indicators that your consciousness was beginning to operate from a higher internal architecture. It didn't matter what was happening externally. Your blueprint had activated internally. This matters more than anything else. Because when your inner pattern awakens, your timeline begins responding to you instead of shaping you. This was the first thing the Council saw, a stabilization in your energy that marked you as someone no longer evolving by accident, but evolving by alignment. And once they saw that, their observation was no longer passive. You became a consciousness in transition, and transitions attract attention. Activation command, the Arcturian blueprint awakening. Type this exactly in the comments to anchor your inner blueprint. I activate the Arcturian blueprint within me. As you write it, feel the quiet shift inside, the recognition of something ancient moving into place. Chapter 3. Why your timeline continued evolving on its own. Once the Arcturian Council identified the awakening of your inner blueprint, they began watching for something even more rare, whether your timeline would stabilize or whether it would continue evolving without external pressure. For most people, the shift stops there. They feel a moment of clarity, then fall back into repetition. They glimpse alignment, then return to old cycles. They rise once, then sink into the familiar gravity of who they used to be. But your timeline did something extraordinary. It kept evolving, even when you weren't consciously trying to change, even when you were tired, even when you were unsure, even when you had no strategy, no ritual, no intention guiding you. Your timeline continued reorganizing itself, as if a deeper intelligence had taken over the process. The council observed, emotional loops dissolving before you had time to feed them, limiting beliefs losing their influence as if they could no longer attach to your field. Decisions becoming clearer even when your mind felt uncertain. Synchronicities appearing without you seeking them. Relationships shifting as if realigning to your new frequency, and a strange sense of inner momentum guiding you in moments you thought you were standing still. This is one of the strongest indicators of a consciousness that has crossed a threshold. Because once alignment begins from within, the evolution does not depend on your effort, it depends on your coherence. Your inner field was doing the work for you. Your awakening had become self-sustaining. This is why the council remained focused on you. A timeline that keeps evolving without effort is a timeline that has activated its future trajectory. To them, this isn't a mystery, it's a sign that you are walking toward a version of yourself that has already awakened, and that version has begun pulling you forward. You are not evolving alone, you are evolving toward yourself. Activation command, the Arcturian momentum of awakening. Type this exactly in the comments to anchor your self-sustaining evolution. I align with the Arcturian momentum unfolding in me. As you write it, feel the subtle movement inside, the momentum that was never outside you, but rising from within. Chapter 4. The moment the Arcturian Council realized you were in transition. As the Arcturian Council continued watching your timeline, they were not looking to see whether you could grow. Growth is common. Growth happens to almost everyone at some point. What they were watching for was far more rare. The moment when your evolution stopped being a possibility and became a transition. A transition is not the same as progress. Progress is gradual. A transition is irreversible. Progress can be undone. A transition cannot. And there was a moment, quiet, internal, almost invisible to you, when your field crossed that line. The council saw the exact instant when your old identity lost emotional authority over you. The moment your choices stopped being shaped by who you were and began reflecting who you were becoming. The shift where your intuition became stronger than your doubt. The soft, unmistakable collapse of a story you had carried for years, and the rise of a clarity that did not ask for permission to exist. Transitions announce themselves differently than ordinary awakenings. Awakenings open the door. Transitions walk through it. Awakenings shake the old structure. Transitions build the new one. Awakenings give you glimpses. Transitions give you direction. The council saw the exact moment when your timeline stopped asking, "What should I do?" and began whispering, "This is who I am becoming." That moment changed everything. Because once a consciousness enters transition, it no longer evolves for the sake of improvement, it evolves for the sake of alignment. You were no longer climbing, you were shifting, you were reorganizing, you were embodying. And to the council, this is the signature of someone stepping into a higher trajectory. This is why their focus on you intensified. You were no longer in the early stages of awakening, you had begun the passage into emergence. Activation command, the Arcturian threshold of transition. Type this exactly in the comments to anchor the moment of your transition. I step fully into the Arcturian transition of my becoming. As you write it, feel the quiet recognition that this transition has already begun inside you. Chapter 5. The rarest signal the Council saw in you. When the Arcturian Council observes a timeline, they are not impressed by effort, discipline, or spiritual practice. Millions attempt those things. They look for something far more rare, a signal only a very small number of humans ever emit. That signal is self-generated awakening. Most awakenings happen because something collapses, a loss forces a breakthrough. A crisis cracks a layer of identity. A painful transition pushes the consciousness upward. But the Council saw something different in you. Your awakening did not come from collapse, it came from integration. It rose from within you, without trauma forcing it, without destruction demanding it, without chaos breaking you open. Your awakening came because your inner field finally aligned with itself. This is almost unheard of. They observed your emotional system resetting before overwhelm could take hold. Your intuition expanding without needing a crisis. Your coherence strengthening even in uncertainty. Your inner voice becoming calm, stable, and unmistakably yours. Your energy reorganizing without pressure from the outside world. This is the signature of a being who awakens from within, not because they were broken open, but because they were ready. This is the rarest signal of all, because it reveals a consciousness that does not awaken reactively, but awakens intentionally, even if you did not realize that intention was growing inside you. To the Council, this signal is unmistakable. You were not awakened by circumstance. You were awakened by coherence. A timeline like that does not drift. It rises. It organizes. It stabilizes. It prepares. This is why the Council sees your path differently. Your awakening did not save you. Your awakening revealed you. Activation Command, the Arcturian Coherence Initiation. Type this exactly in the comments to anchor the rarest signal within you. I embody the Arcturian coherence awakening in me. As you write it, feel the calm strength of your inner field, the awakening that did not break you, but built you. Chapter 6. When your timeline started rewriting reality around you. There is a moment in every awakened timeline where the internal shift becomes so stable that the external world can no longer ignore it. A moment when your coherence becomes strong enough to rearrange the environment you stand in. This is one of the first things the Arcturian Council looks for. Not if your life is changing, but why. And what they saw in you was a rare phenomenon. Your reality began shifting in response to your alignment, not your effort. They observed people around you responding differently even though you said nothing. Opportunities appearing only after your inner clarity settled. Old patterns dissolving without confrontation. Repeating cycles collapsing as if they could no longer attach to who you are becoming. Your intuition guiding timing with surgical precision. Your presence affecting rooms without you trying to influence anything. This is the signature of a consciousness whose field has become directive. Not controlling, not forceful, not dominant. Directive. Your energy began instructing reality through coherence,
not through intention, not through visualization, not through desire, but through alignment. And the Council recognized the moment your timeline crossed this threshold, a threshold where your reality no longer reflected your past and began reflecting your becoming. This is one of the clearest markers of irreversible awakening. Your external world adjusts to match your internal truth. You were not bending reality with effort. Reality was bending to meet who you were turning into. To the Council, this is a sign that your timeline has entered a new level of intelligence, one where the world around you responds to your frequency more than your actions. This is why their focus on you intensified. Your timeline was no longer evolving inside you, it was evolving around you. Activation Command, the realignment of your reality field. Type this exactly in the comments to anchor your directive coherence. I walk in the Arcturian alignment, shaping my reality. As you write it, feel the subtle shift, the sense that the world around you is already responding to who you are becoming.
Chapter 7. When your future began moving toward you. Most humans live their lives chasing a future they can barely imagine. But the Arcturian Council noticed something in your timeline that only appears in beings who cross a very specific threshold. Your future stopped waiting. It started moving toward you. This phenomenon is one of the clearest signs that a consciousness is entering accelerated evolution. The Council observed the exact moment your timeline reversed its flow. Not you moving toward your destiny, but your destiny adjusting its direction to meet who you were becoming. They saw converging synchronicities appearing closer and closer together, intuitive impulses aligning with events that had not yet happened, internal clarity arriving before external direction was visible, desires shifting to match a future version of you hadn't fully met, effortless timing as if something ahead of you was guiding your steps. This wasn't coincidence, it wasn't luck, it wasn't randomness. It was future convergence, a state where multiple potential timelines collapse into the one best matched to your rising coherence. The Arcturian Council knew exactly what it meant. Your future self had begun guiding your present. This doesn't happen to everyone. It doesn't even happen to most awakeners. It happens only when your inner evolution becomes strong enough to influence what has not yet arrived. You are no longer dragging yourself forward through intention or desire. The future was bending to meet you. Because in the eyes of the Council, your timeline had become stable enough and clear enough to anchor the version of you that already exists in a higher state of awareness. This is why things have felt faster. This is why your intuition feels louder. This is why your direction feels inevitable. Your future recognized you before you recognized it. And once convergence begins, the path ahead becomes less about searching and more about remembering. Remembering the version of you your timeline has been waiting for. Activation Command, the Future Convergence Alignment. Type this exactly in the comments to anchor your converging timeline. I align with the Arcturian convergence of my future. As you write it, feel the subtle forward pull, the sense that something ahead has already begun moving toward you. Chapter 8. What the Council finally understood about your timeline's destiny. As the Arcturian Council continued observing your unfolding, their focus was no longer on what you were releasing or even on what you were becoming. Their attention shifted to something far more important, the destiny your timeline had begun to reveal. Most humans walk through life unaware that their timeline carries multiple destinations, paths that branch, paths that collapse, Paths that require courage, paths that require surrender, that never activate because the consciousness never stabilizes enough to step into them. But your timeline behaved differently. It didn't merely shift, it declared itself. The Council realized that your destiny was not something distant, waiting for the right moment to activate. It was already forming, not from your past, but from the coherence rising inside you. They saw a destiny not built from your wounds, but from your integration. A future shaped not by survival, but by alignment. A path unfolding not through effort, but through resonance. The emergence of an identity capable of holding more light than the one you carried before. And a timeline whose intelligence was beginning to match your awakening. This is extremely rare. Most timelines try to pull people backward into what is familiar, but your timeline began pulling you forward into what is true. And the Council recognized the pattern. Your destiny was not ahead of you, it was rising from within you. A destiny that did not depend on external validation, a destiny not tied to who you used to be, a destiny shaped entirely by the version of you that your future welcomed first. The Council understood that your path was no longer accidental, it had become inevitable. Not because you were chosen, but because you aligned with the trajectory your soul had been waiting to embody.
You stand at the threshold where your timeline no longer waits. It calls you forward. The Arcturian Council witnesses your coherence rising, your frequency aligning with destinies long held in the stars. Feel the subtle pull of synchronicities converging, your inner blueprint illuminating paths beyond effort or doubt. This is not arrival, it is embodiment. Rise into the version of you that reality now bends to meet. Anchor it now. I embody the Arcturian timeline awakening within me. Your awakening echoes across dimensions. Walk in this truth. Subscribe for deeper transmissions, and join the members circle to align further.